ॐ दक्षिणस्य समारम्भा शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमा अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ता स्मर्या गुरुपरम्परा श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। परिज्ञानाश्रम श्रीगुरुशङ्कर परिज्ञानाश्रम शङ्कर सद्गुरु केशववामन कृष्णपाण्डुरङ्ग आनन्द परिज्ञान गुरु सत्योजात शङ्कर सद्गुरु गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरं व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्. So in Aparokshanubhuti, Bhagwan Shankaracharya first starts for the first part of the 144 verses is about Atma Satyam. Atma Aham Satya. That means that which is the absolute truth, the highest order of reality, that which is the only thing that is there, that which is all the time there, imperishable, that is anityam, and that which is nityam, which is imperishable, nityam, ekam, advitiyam. Ekam, advitiyam, nityam, atma, brahma is my nature. That is what Bhagwan Shankaracharya talked about in the first part. Then he took up to, if I am the Satyam, and if I am the only thing that is present there in the Jagat, then what about this Jagat that I am experiencing? What about this Jagat that I am transacting with? What about my own body, mind, sense complex? And Bhagwan Shankaracharya gave a lot of examples from our day-to-day life to make us understand and to convince us that this entire experienced world, this entire transactable world, this body, mind, sense complex included in the world is only an experiential reality. It is not the absolute truth. And that experienceable reality, which is only a temporary truth, anitya, which is experienced only at that particular time, which is not all the time there, such an experienced reality, what we say about what we see in the Jagat, is called as mithya. It is a lower order of reality. We are not negating the world. Our Shruti does not negate the world. It does not negate the body, mind, sense complex. What it says is that ultimately, what is experienced by all of us is not the absolute truth. It is something which is anekam, which is savikari, which is anityam, which is agamapayi, and therefore it is not absolutely real. Atma is the absolute reality. Who is Atma? I am the Atma. Then Jagat, along with the body, mind, sense complex, being mithya, I am not the body, mind, sense complex. I am not the Jagat at all. Absolutely not the Jagat. This is what is talked about up to the 88th verse. Then we saw that Bhagwan Shankaracharya wants to explain to us about the various types of karmas, karma phalas. And as I explained in the previous sessions also, in the last session, we saw that karma phalas can be divided into three types. We already saw that. That is, all the karmas that are done in my so many previous, I can't say lives, not my lives. This jiva which has left the body at the time of death, has embodied into another body. Like that, this so-called jiva has gone and traveled millions of times, and it has taken millions of new bodies. And the jiva thinks that it is the karta, it is the doer, it is doing the karma, and therefore it has to experience the karma phala. So, what happens here? The karta jiva, the bhokta jiva, embodies itself into multiple bodies and goes through or works out the karma phalas accumulated in all the previous embodiments of the jiva. Jiva means what? Sukshma Sharira with the Chidabhasa. That we call as Jiva, along with all the Sanchita karmas. That whole package is called as the Jiva. And in what way is this Jiva different from Atma? The Jiva is only the reflection of consciousness, me. I, the consciousness, is the original. The Jiva is a mere reflection of this consciousness. And therefore, what is happening is the Jiva thinks of itself, it considers itself to be the original, it considers itself to be the karta, it considers itself to be doing the transactions, therefore, it accumulates the karma phalas also. So, all those karma phalas which have been, accumulated or accrued into my particular account, my means this jiva's particular account, are called as sanchita karmas. And in every embodiment, the jiva has to work out a part of this sanchita karmas, that the huge deposit of karma, out of which a small part gets, activated during a particular lifetime, during a particular embodiment. And that particular small, you know, what you call a part of the sanchita karma, which is responsible for this particular body, this karma is called as prarabdha karma or prarabdha karma phala. That means a portion of the sanchita karma manifests itself to be worked out during this particular embodiment and this particular karma phala that I am going to experience, either suffer or enjoy. This is what is called as the prarabdha karma phala. And I don't keep quiet. When this body is born, when this body is there, I don't keep quiet. Then what do? I do more karmas, accumulate more karma phalas. And these accrued karma phalas, some of them are experienced in this life only, some of them get added to my sanchita karma. So, now, what happens to a jnani? What happens to a jivan mukta? We already know that sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. What? Atmajnanam. This knowledge literally burns off all the sanchita karma phalas. So this jnani has no sanchita karma phalas left. This jnani or this jivan mukta is akarta, abhokta, atma, aham asmi iti, he clearly understands. And therefore, whatever actions are done by this Jivan Mukta, the karma phalas don't accrue to him because he's not doing any karma with the intention of I am doing it. There is no kartritvam. There's no question of I am doing it. Then what is the attitude of a Jivan Mukta when he does the karma in this particular life after this jnanam? This body, mind, sense complex, being a pure instrument of Ishvara, is doing whatever it has to do according to Ishvara's order. I am not the Karta. I am a mere witness, observer, consciousness, in whose presence this body mind sense complex functions the way it has been programmed. To whatever extent this body has to survive and do its actions, to that particular program is going on here. Gunaha gudeshu vartante, indriyani indriyartheshu vartante, aham na kinchit karomi. I, the Atma, I don't do anything. We saw that in Bhagavad Gita. So there is no kartritvam for this jnani. So agami karma phalas don't accrue to him. Then what happens to the prarabdha karma phala with which this body came? With this body with which the prarabdha karma phalas, which fructified at the time of the appearance of this body of the jnani. What happens? The Shruti or our scriptures in the beginning, for the beginners, to teach the beginners, the Shruti says that the prarabdha karma phalas, having already started their momentum, they are not going to stop. The body of the jnani has to go through all the prarabdha karma phalas with which it was born. Now, when we the ajnanis look at a jnani, we say that, oh, he's a jnani. He's a jivan mukta. But see how much he's suffering. He's not suffering. His body is going through whatever it has to go through. The afflictions are for the body, not for the Atma. I am neither the body nor the dharmas or attributes of the body. The afflictions of the body, the rogas of the body, the problems of the body are in no way connected with me, the Atma. The body goes through whatever it has been programmed for. But I, the Atma, I, this consciousness, the observer Atma, I do not get affected by any of these experiences which are going to be experienced by the body mind sense complex, because I am not this body. I don't own this body. This body is not mine. This is the knowledge of the Jivan Mukta. That is why he is free from samsara. What about us, the Ajnanis? I am this body. This is my body. So what happens? All the body's problems are my problems. All the body's diseases are my problems. The Adi, Vyadi, Bhaya, everything belongs to me. I, the Atma, I am the sufferer. That is an Ajnani's contention. Whereas a Jnani's understanding is what? I am not the body mind sense complex. The body is not mine. Aham mama is not there. This body, incidentally, which is associated here, is nothing but the Jagat. It's a part of the Jagat. It is Ishvara Srishti. It has come with a certain programming from Ishvara. Till that program runs out, this body is going to do its job. I am in no way concerned with it. I am not affected by it. Let it go through whatever it has to go through. Because of this understanding, the Jivan Mukta is free from Sukha, Dukkha, Raga, Dveshas, Moha, Bhayam. All this does not affect the Jnani. So therefore, for who is the Prarabdha? For whom is the Prarabdha? Is it Jnani's Prarabdha? Is it the Jnani's body's Prarabdha? Whose Prarabdha is it? Therefore, Bhagwan Shankaracharya now wants to say that though the Shruti means though the Upanishads, our scriptures, talk about a Prarabdha, a Shesha Prarabdha for the Jnani's body, really speaking, even Prarabdha karma is not there for a Jivan Mukta Jnani. That is what Bhagwan Shankaracharya is going to talk about in the next 7 or 8 verses. So in the last session, we saw the 90th verse where Bhagwan said, Utpanne api atma vijnane prarabdham naiva munchati iti yat shruyate shastrat tan nirakriyate adhuna. Adhuna, from now onwards, in the next few verses, Nirakriyate means negate. But here we should not take Nirakriyate as negate, because even Bhagwan Shankaracharya cannot negate what the Shruti is telling. What he wants to say is, I will interpret it in such a way that the reader or the mumukshu understands the reality of the prarabdha for a jnani. So tan nirakrayate. Which one? Yat shruyate shastrat. That which we hear from the shastra. What do we hear from shastra? Utpanne api atma vijnane prarabdham naiva munchati. Even after atma jnanam, the prarabdha for that person who has attained moksha or who has abided in his swarupam, prarabdha never really goes. Prarabdha is not gone. It persists. That is what? Till what? Till this body falls off, the prarabdha continues. Its shesha prarabdha continues. That is what is generally talked about by the Upanishads for the basic teaching of an ajnani, initial teaching. But what Bhagwan Shankaracharya says is that I'm going to explain in more detail to make you understand that, really speaking, prarabdha does not exist for a jnani. Just like Sanchita doesn't exist for him, just like Agami does not exist for him, prarabdha also does not exist for a jnani, for a jivan mukta. That is what he's going to say in the next 8 verses. Now let's go to the 91st verse. What does he say here? तत्त्वज्ञानोदयादूर्ध्वं प्रारब्धं नैव विद्यते देहादीनाम् असत्यत्वात् यथा स्वप्नः प्रबोधतः. Tattvajnana udayad urdhvam. After Tattvajnanam. Tattvajnanam means what? After knowing the truth of myself. After knowing the truth of myself. What happens here? Prarabdham naiva vidyate. Really speaking, there is no prarabdha for this jnani. Once he has understood that I am the akarta abhokta atma, I am the sthula sukshma sharirat vyatirikta atma. When I have understood this, when the jnani has understood this, prarabdha also has no effect on him. Prarabdha does not cause any kind of physical, that is sthula sharira or sukshma sharira, afflictions for a jnani. How? Why? Dehadinam asatyatvat. Prarabdha is for what? Whom? For this body. And who is the sufferer? The jiva or the mind is the one which suffers. The jiva suffers. The body is afflicted by prarabdha. It is the body, mind, sense complex which is afflicted by prarabdha karma. In the form of sukha, in the form of dukkha, in the form of jara, roga, whatever it is. All the afflictions, all the shad urmis that are there for the stula sukshma karana, stula sukshma sharira. Same way, the prarabdha, which is meant for sthula sukshma sharira, belongs to sthula sukshma sharira. But the jnani has already understood that sthula sharira is mithya, sukshma sharira is mithya. We have already seen that. In this particular text itself, we have seen that sthula sharira and sukshma sharira are both mithya. They do not really exist. They are not absolute reality. I have already understood as a jnani. In that case, when the jnani or the jivan mukta has already understood that I am not this body mind sense complex, this body mind sense complex is a mere appearance in me. It is a mere experienced reality, mithya. Therefore, the prarabdha experienced by this body also is mithya. Therefore, prarabdha really does not exist. It's difficult to understand because for us, The grip of prarabdha is so strong in an ajnani. And we always keep saying, who knows what I had done? I'm suffering so much. What do you think I would have done? I'm such a good person in this life. But why am I suffering so much? Because we give reality to the body, mind, sense complex. We give reality to the afflictions of the body, mind, sense complex. So, where is the question of mithyatvam? Once I really clearly see that this body, mind, sense complex is mithya, then prarabdha also automatically is seen as mithya. When I see prarabdha as mithya, will it in any way affect me? And the example he gives is yatha swapnaha prabodataha. In swapna, I may experience so many problems, isn't it? I can experience problems, I can experience illnesses, I can experience going to the hospital and getting treatment, all that. I may suffer pain even in swapna. But when I wake up, what do I say? The swapna sharira was mithya. So all the afflictions that I experienced in the swapna are also mithya. They don't belong to me. Similarly, a person who has awoken to the highest order of reality, the jnani who has woken up to his reality, the real swarupam of himself, when he has woken up to the reality that aham akarta abhokta atma asmi, when he has woken up to that reality, this waker's body mind sense complex also is seen as mithya. Like the waking world also is seen as mithya by a jnani. This body mind sense complex, which I so strongly see as me, I and mine, that is no longer there. So, for whom is the prarabdha here? If the body mind sense complex itself is mithya, then the sufferings of the body mind sense complex are also mithya. They're not the absolute reality. Then, where is the prarabdha? Okay. Then he goes to the next verse, 92nd verse. कर्मजन्मान्तरकृतं प्रारब्धमिति कीर्तितं तत्तु जन्मान्तराभावात् पुंसो नैवास्ति कर्हिचित्. So, how do you define prarabdha karma? Karma janmantarakritam. It's not done in this life. This life, whatever karma I've done in this life means in this particular, in this particular embodiment of this jiva. Whatever karma I am doing and accumulating the phala for which is called as agami karma. Fine. Then what is prarabdha karma? A portion of that accumulated karma phala, which has accumulated in so many previous lives of this jiva, traveling jiva, a portion of it has manifested in this embodiment. So, karma janmantara kritam. Janmantara kritam karma. Janmantara, in some other life, one of the lives, which is now bearing fruit in this life. Prarabdhamiti kirtitam. It is called as prarabdha. Tattu janmantara abhavat pumsaha. But do I have janmas? Najayate mriyate va kadachita. I am neither born. I am ajaha, nityaha, shashvataha, puranaha. The sharira only goes. I don't go anywhere. I don't come back anywhere. I don't travel anywhere. I don't have a birth. Okay. So, where is the question of Janmantara Krita Karma? When I'm not at all born, when I don't even die, how can I say that Prarabdha Karma is what I did in some other life, Janmantara Kritam Karma? How can I say that? When I don't have any Janma at all. The Jiva may go and come, Jiva may go and come, but I'm not the Jiva. The Jiva is a mistaken identity. A mistaken identity, a mistaken understanding is Jiva. I'm not the Jiva. I am that Atma Swarupam. I'm not that reflected, the consciousness reflected in the buddhi and that ahankara with that, that chidabhasa forming the jiva. I'm not that. That is incidental. I am this original. I am that consciousness. Ekameva advitiya atma amasmi. I don't have any janmantara. I'm not born. I don't die. There is no janma for me, no mrityu for me. Then for whom is this janmantara kritam papam? Okay. It is for that particular mistaken thing which has experienced, probably done with the intention of kartritvam. But now, with this knowledge, I have understood that I have never been the karta now or any time before, because of which all the sanchita karmas which were there in the account of this jiva have gone. How do I say janmantara kritam karma is giving rise to prarabdha? That is okay for an ajnani. But a jnani has already understood that I have never had any janmas, there's no janmantara for me. Where is the question of janmantara kritam karma? Naiva asti karhi chita. When janma itself is not there. Janmantara krita karma, where is it? Janmantara krita karmasya phala, where is it? So where is this prarabdha karma phala? Who is the experiencer of this? Therefore, there is nothing called as prarabdha karma phala, because that is the definition of prarabdha. Janmantara krita karma, kritam karma in this life, manifest to reap the fruits, the karma phalam. But there is no janma, there is no kartritvam, nothing. I have cancelled everything. Where is the question of prarabdha for this janmarahita aja, for this ajam atma? Where is the question of prarabdha? Okay. Then he comes to the 93rd verse, where similarly the explanation goes on for the really speaking, there is no prarabdha. A jnani understands this. But for an ajnani, prarabdha is very much there. Body, mind, sense complex is very much there. The jnani is still living in the same body, in the same situations. He's associated with the same body. But only the change is in the change of perspective or understanding, the clarity of perception, the change in such a way that the mistake is erased, the mistake is corrected. With the corrected mistake, with the right vision, samyak darshanam, see what a drastic change that happens in a person's life, the one who's suffering. What a drastic change happens by mere change of perception and nothing else. So now he says in the 93rd verse, Swapna deho yathadhyastah tathaivaaham hi dehakah adhyastasya kuto janma bhave sthiti kutah. So he says, just as swapna deho yatha adhyasaha, just like a swapna deha is projected, imagined, or superimposed by the mind on me, the waker. The swapna deha is false. It is a projection. It is a superimposition. Projection itself means it is false. Projection means it is there for appearance, but really speaking, it is not there. So a swapna deha is adhyasta deha, a projected deha by the mind. The mind projects a swapna deha, projects a swapna kartritvam, swapna indriyas, swapna jagat, and all the swapna transactions take place. But what is that whole dream? It is mere projection of the mind. Swapna deho yatha adhyastaha, as it is just like the swapna deha and its vyavaharas are superimposed, projected, tathaiva ayam hi dehakaha. In the same way, this thula shariram, this waking shariram is also a superimposition. It is a projection. Projection by what? By projection by avidya or maya. In Nidra, what happens? Avidya of Nidra projects a Swapna Deha. But Maya or Avidya or lack of knowledge about the reality of myself projects a Sthula Sharira matter principle, which I have adhyasa with. I mistake it for myself. That is what he's saying here. Just like in a dream, I mistake myself for the dream body and the dream mind and the dream vyavahara. In the waking state also, the same thing is happening, but in a little bigger way, in a mega way it is happening. So just as I wake up from the swapna, I realize that the swapna deha and the swapna transactions are mithya. Similarly, when I wake up to my highest reality, the Paramarthika Satyam, that Aham Brahmasmi, then I realize that this Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram is also Mithya. And all the transactions of the Sthula Sukshma Sharira are Mithya. All the afflictions of Sthula Sukshma Sharira are Mithya. That is what I understand. So, Adhyastasya, when this body itself, this sthula sharira of the waking state also is adhyasta, kuto janma, where is the janma for a projected body? Kuto janmaha, janma abhave sthitihi kutaha. How can there be a reality for this unborn body? Now, again, there'll be a confusion here. Unborn body, it does not mean that the body does not exist. Yes, it exists. It is a Vyavaharika Satyam, a lower order of reality. But what are we talking here? From what point? We are talking from the point of a Jnani who has understood, who has woken up to the highest truth of the nature of himself, who has no difference between a Swapna Sharira and Jagrat Sharira. For him, Jagrat Sharira is as mithya as Swapna Sharira. For us, it is very easy to understand that the Swapna Sharira is mithya. But the Jagrat Sharira is mithya, we cannot accept because we have not woken up to the second waking up, the next waking up to the highest reality has not taken place. Just like in dream, the dream is absolutely real till I wake up. In this waking stage, this particular body mind sense complex and its transactions are real till I wake up from this also to the highest truth or Paramarthika Satyam. Because we have not woken up to the highest truth, because we have not seen our reality as it is, because our ignorance is not gone because of Atmajnanam. That is why we cannot accept that Prarabdha is mithya. We cannot accept that the body mind sense complex is mithya. But for this jnani who has woken up to the highest reality, the Paramarthika Satyam, this waking body mind sense complex and all its prarabdhas and karma phalas and karma also are very, very clearly understood as mithya. So for this mithya deha, where is the reality? Sthitihi kutaha. Where is the reality? If that is the thing, where is the reality to the prarabdha? If this body is real, then prarabdha is real. If this mind is real, then the suffering of the mind is real. But when I have woken up beyond this to my highest reality, when I see this body mind sense complex itself as mithya, where is the question of any reality to it? Where is the question of any reality to the prarabdha, which is experienced, prarabdha karma phala, which is experienced by this body mind sense complex? See what level the teaching goes. That is why, like we have to go on listening to this again and again. In an Upanishad called as Mandukya Upanishad, in the Karika, written by Gaudapadacharya on the Upanishad, very clearly these points are brought about. Very, very clearly that this entire Jagat is nothing but mithya. This body, mind, sense complex with this Jagat, my waking prapancha, my waking body, mind, sense complex is as mithya as my swapna prapancha and swapna body, mind, sense complex. That is what is the very subject of Vaitatya Prakaranam in the Karika of Bhagwan Gaudapada in Mandukya Upanishad. And then he says that there is only one thing, Ekam Advitiyam Nityam Atma. That's all. That is the only thing which is there, which is the reality. Very clearly, it is discussed in that particular Upanishad. Then, he says Swapna Dehaha. That means what here? In this 93rd verse, Bhagwan says that where is the question of reality to the prarabdha karma when this deha, the waking deha, the deha transacting itself is nothing but mithya. That itself has no absolute existence of its own. Then, in the next verse, in the 94th verse, let's go to that verse, and he says, Upadanam prapanchasya mridbhandasyeva kathyate ajnanam chaiva vedantaihi tasmin nashte kva vishvata. So, there is a cause for everything. There is cause. We in this whole jagat we see cause and effect, cause and effect. So that's why Brahman is considered to be, Atma is considered to be the Jagat Karanam, the cause of everything, in which everything appears, everything is sustained, and everything is resolved. And here he gives an example. Upadanam prapanchasya ajnanam. He says, gives an example. What is the example? Mrit bhandasyeva kathyate. For a bhanda, for a clay pot, just like the clay is the upadanam. Upadanam means the material cause. The upadanam or the cause, the material cause of a mrit bhanda, or mrit bhanda means what? I mean, like any vessel made up of clay. For example, if it is a clay pot, what is the cause of the clay pot? Clay. So here he says, similarly, prapanchasya upadanam, for this entire experience, jagat in the waking state, including the body, mind, sense complex, ajnana chaiva, it is a ignorance. Just like the avidya of nidra is the cause for the swapna prapancha, this ajnanam about the reality of myself is the cause for the projection of this entire universe. Here we have to remember the avarana shakti and the vikshepa shakti of Maya. Maya, Prakriti or Maya, completely veils my knowledge about myself. Partially actually veils, not completely, it veils. I know I am, but I don't know who I am. So, this avaranam of Maya creates a situation where the whole universe, the material universe, is projected. It is the Maya's karyam. That means what? Ajnanam or avarana shakti of Maya projects the universe with its, including this body, mind, sense complex, and gives it a reality. So, just like clay is the cause of a clay pot or a clay vessel, upadanam of the prapancha. Prapancha means this particular, whatever I see around me, including this body, mind, sense complex, is ajnanam. Ajnanam what? Ajnanam about myself. I do not know aham satyam. I do not know jagan mithya. I do not know who I am. and therefore I project a world. The Maya Shakti projects a world which becomes reality for me. That is wrong. That is what is being said here. It's not wrong means it's not my fault. That is what it is. All of us are born Ajnanis. All of us are in the wrong in the sense that all of us are living in a mistake. Our entire life is a mistake. Our entire life is dealt in mistakes. We have never even thought of it because we have we're all the time feeling that whatever I'm doing is the right thing, whatever I'm doing is the real thing. No, it's all mithya. We have not even thought of it. It is the ajnanam. Ajnanam what? Avidya, ajnanam of avarana shakti of Maya, where I am not aware of who I am, what I am. So I take myself to be anything other than what I am. I take myself to be the body. I take myself to be the world. I take myself to be the karta. Get afflicted by the projected universe. So I have projected a world, including this body, mind, sense complex, out of my avidya. And that is what is the disease of the whole universe of all the jivas. Kaschid dhiraha pratyagatmanam aikshata avritta chakshuhu amritatvam icchan. We saw that in Kathopanishad. A very rare individual. Krishna also said, Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhai. I'm so lost that this is the reality. This is real. I don't even think that there must be something else. This cannot be the reality because I see this reality changing so fast, it cannot be real. There must be something which is more permanent, which is unchanging. Very rarely such a thought, such a question comes to me. And when that question comes, I become a mumukshu, I become a jignasu, and I surrender to the Guru and Shastra. And ultimately, Shastra tells me that it is your ajnana about yourself which has caused a projection. And unfortunately, you're caught in that projection and thinking that to be real. But once I understand this, once I wake up to the highest truth or the highest reality of who I am, then the ignorance, avidya is gone. And with the avidya gone, the projection is gone. Doesn't mean that the world is not there, it is Ishvara's Srishti, but the Satyatvam that I give to this Jagat, the Satyatvam that I give to this body, mind, sense complex, the Satyatvam that I give to my Kartritvam, Bhoktritvam, Prarabdha, everything disappears. That is why a Jivan Mukta is, Swastaha, he's a Sukhi, he is Ananda, he is nothing but that Ananda, Atmananda only, because nothing affects him. Ajnana chaiva vedantaihi tasmin nashte kva vishvata. Okay, so when this, that's what Vedanta Upanishads, that's what they say, that's what they declare, that bhridyate hridaya granthi, chidyante sarva samshayaha, kshiyante chasya karmani, tasmin drishte paravare. We saw that in Mundakopanishad just some time back we completed. So Upanishads say that just like clay is the cause of a clay pot, Ajnanam is the cause of the entire prapancha, projected prapancha. Okay, so he says here, when this Ajnanam is gone, where is the question of Kva Vishvata? Where is the universe? Means where is the reality to the universe? It doesn't exist means what? It exists, but it does not have a reality of its own. That means it is mithya. When aham satyam, aham brahmasmi is clearly understood, the world, the jagat disappears means what? It no longer is the reality for me. It is no longer the truth, absolute truth for me. It is a mere appearance, a transactable appearance. Next in the 95th verse he says, यथा रज्जुं परित्यज्य सर्पं गृह्णाति वै भ्रमात् तद्वत् सत्यमविज्ञाय जगत् पश्यति मूढधीः. यथा रज्जुं परित्यज्य, when the Rajju, the typical Vedanta cannot be taught without this Rajju Sarpa. That is the stock example, or the stock thing which has to be there. Almost every third or fourth verse you will find Rajju Sarpa. Yatha Rajju Parityajya. When I don't see the Rajju clearly, I see something, but I don't see that clearly as Rajju. Sarpam Grandhati Vai Brahmat. We have already seen so many examples were given of Brahma. That means what? Mistakenly. That means what? I mistake a rope for a snake. Why? Because I don't see it clearly. If I don't see it at all, that is in absolute darkness, there is no projection. When there is clear light, there is no projection. When is the projection of Sarpa on the Rajju? When I see something, but I don't see it as Rajju. Similarly, I know I am, but I don't know I am the Paramarthika Satya Atma. Then is the scope for projection of a world. Just like a unrecognized or mistaken bhrantya, by a mistaken confusion, I mistake a rajju for a sarpa. Similarly, because of this ajnanam, where samanya jnanam is there, ahamasmi, the vishesha jnana, that aham brahmasmi, aham akarta atma asmi, aham abhokta atma asmi, this I do not know. This is the reason, since I don't know myself clearly exactly what I am as I am, Jagat Pashyati Moodhadhihi. A confused intellect, a Bhranta intellect, sees itself not as the Satya Atma. It knows it is, I know I am, but I don't know who I am. Therefore, I am confused. This buddhi is confused, and I project a projected universe. I project a body, mind, sense complex, and I project myself into that, my projection, and take it to be the reality. So, what he says is Tadvat Satyam Avijnaya, Satyam Atmanam Avijnaya. By not knowing the reality of the self, what I do? Jagat Pashyati Moodhadhihi. A confused intellect is an Ajnani. Moodhadhihi. An Ajnani who's confused, who knows he is or she is, but does not know who she is or what really she or he is, mistakes himself or herself to be anything else other than what it really is. Like, I know there is something there lying, something long, but I don't know that is rope. So I can think of it as a mala, I can think of it as a stick lying there, I can mistake it for a hose pipe, I can mistake it for a snake, I can mistake it for anything else. And that is what has happened to us. Other than what I really am, that Brahman, I mistake myself to be everything else other than what I am. Next, in the 96th verse, he says, Rajjurupe parignyate sarpabhrantirna tishtati adhishtane tatha jnate prapancha shunyatam vrajet. Opposite of what we saw in the previous verse. Rajju ajnanat sarpabhrantihi. Rajju jnanat, what happens? Sarpa goes. Correct? When I know that it is Rajju, Sarpa Bhranti goes away. Does the Sarpa come there? Was the Sarpa there really? No. Did it come from anywhere? No. Did it go from there? No. There was no Sarpa at all in the first place. There's no question of the Sarpa coming or going. It was not at all there. But I saw it. I experienced it. Correct? That was Bhranti. But when I realized that it is a Rajju by showing a torch upon it, or somebody else shows a torch and says, no, 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 it's not a snake, but it is a Rajju, and I see the Rajju clearly for what it is, where is the Sarpajnanam? It has just disappeared. Just like darkness disappears on bringing in light, Ajnanam, when Jnanam light comes, when Ajnanam disappears, all my projection just disappears. So, Rajjurupe Parijnate, Sarpa Bhrantirna Tishtati. I no longer say, no, 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 this is Sarpa itself. Sarpa Bhrantirna Tishtati. So, Adhishtane Tathajnate. When I understand the Adhishtanam, the Atma, Adhishtana Brahman, that whatever is there is only this consciousness, nothing else. Then what happens? Prapanchaha shunyatam vrajet. Means what? I do not see the world or the jagat as real. Shunyatam vrajet does not mean that the world disappears. Rajju, Sarpa disappears. Unfortunately, the Sarpa disappears. Unfortunately, the dream disappears. But the jagat is Ishvara Srishti. If I have understood my reality, the world has to be there because it is still transactable for all the other people. When I say the Jagat disappears for me, what it means is the Jagat no longer holds me by my neck. The Jagat no longer becomes a reality for me. It's no longer a reality for me. It is as good as not there for me. Mithya means as good as not there for me. Yeah, it is, the appearance is there, but it is as good as not there for me. That's the meaning of Shunyatam Vrajet. Okay, so next verse in the 97th verse is a Dehasyapi prapanchatvat prarabdhavastiti kutaha ajnani janabodhartham prarabdham vakti vaishrutihi. Very clearly he says here that dehasya api prapanchatvat. Okay, dehasya api prapanchatvat. Deha also being a part of the prapancha. If prapancha is mithya, deha being a part of this prapancha is also mithya. Therefore, dehasya api prapanchatvat. Okay, prarabdhava sthiti kutaha. Okay, that means prarabdha. Where is the sthiti for prarabdha? Kutaha. Where can the prarabdha be? When jagat is mithya, when the body which is a part of the jagat is mithya, where is the question? Where is the prarabdha then? Is it in the world? Then it should be mithya. Is it in this body? Then it should be mithya. What prarabdha is suffered by mithya jagat, mithya body, mind, sense complex? Then what is the existence of prarabdha? Prarabdha also is mithya. Sthitihi kutaha. Okay? Where, what is the sthiti? What is the existence of prarabdha? As long as jagat is satyam, as long as the body, mind, sense complex is satyam, prarabdha is satyam. For all of us, prarabdha is satyam because we have not woken to the highest reality. But for the person who has seen that ajnana is gone and sees the satyam for satyam and mithya for mithya, no more confusion, no more bhranti. And if the jagat is mithya, if the body mind sense complex is mithya, prarabdha also is mithya. Where is the existence of prarabdha? Does it really exist? No. Therefore, ajnani jana bodhartham prarabdham vakti vai shrutihi. So, Shruti or our scriptures may initially talk about a prarabdha but it is only for the sake of beginners. Ajnani jana bodhartham. Ajnani jana. For ajnanis, to talk to them about what are the different types of prarabdha, different types of karma and karma phala. Initially, for a beginner, the Shruti talks about satyatvam of prarabdha remaining in a, in even in a jnani. But ultimately, prarabdha is also as mithya. Therefore, with this knowledge, even prarabdha karma no longer exists for a jnani. As long as I am an ajnani, sanchita exists for me, prarabdha exists for me, agami exists for me. I suffer everything that the body, mind, sense complex suffers with this interaction with the world. Because for me, the Ajnani, this is real, world is real, you are real, everything is real except Atma, because I don't even know what Atma is. But when I know I am that Atma, Ekameva Advitiyam Atma, there is no question of any Satyatvam at all to Prarabdha also. And he gives the pramanam of what? The Upanishadic pramana he gives in the 98th verse, where he says, Kshiyante chasya karmani tasmin drishte paravare bahutvam tannishedartham shrutya gitancha vaisfutam. So when Shruti says, Mundakopanishad, I talked about Hridaya Granthi, Vidyate Hridaya Granthi. Kshiyante chasya karmani. Mundakopanishad talks about asya, means for this jnani, kshiyante karmani. All the karmas are resolved or dissolved. So when plural number is used for karma, it includes all the three karmas. Sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, and agami karma phala. How can a jnani have no sanchita karma phala, no agami karma phala, but only prarabdha karma phala? How can it be left behind? Kshiyante chasya karmani. All the karmas of a karma phalas of a jnani are completely burnt away. So, when the plural karmani, the plural form is used for karma, that means bahutvam plural is used. Tan nishedartam shrutya gitam cha vaisputam. It is very clear that the Shruti includes all the karmas, including the prarabdha karma. So, prarabdha karma is also mithya. And the last verse in this particular set of topic, 99th verse, Uchyater chaitad anarthatvaya vedantamatahanancha yato jnanamiti shrutihi. Then what he wants to say is, I think the time is getting, we can take up this verse in the next session. So uchyate agnaihi balat cha ye tad anartha tada anarthaha dvayagamaha anartha anarthadvayagamaha. Now, if I consider the prarabdha to be the reality, then I will be misinterpreting the Shruti itself. Okay, so he says that the Shruti or the Shastras are talking about this prarabdha for a jnani with a different intention. And by believing that prarabdha exists, we are only going to talk about, we do not know, we do not understand what Shruti is talking about. I'll have to explain this verse, so we will take this verse in the next session. This is the last verse of this particular karma phala for a jnani. Om nandantu sadhaka sarve vinashyantu vidushakaha avastha shambhavi mestu prasannostu guru sada sarve bhavantu sukhinaha sarve santu niramayaha सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. ॐ तत्सत्.